You are not weak, you are just distracted from your true strength. Nobody is coming to push you. Nobody cares enough to do the work for you. So do it for yourself. In life, we all seek validation. We want others to cheer us on, to recognize our struggle, to understand our pain. But the truth, nobody cares, not in the way you need them to, and that's not a curse. It's a gift, because once you understand this, you stop waiting. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect support, or the perfect motivation. You realize this life is yours to live, to shape, to master. The discipline to wake up early, the pain you endure through hard training, the sacrifices you make when no one sees, these are the bricks of self-respect, and that can't be given. It must be earned. Mastery begins when excuses end. It begins when you say, "This is mine, my body, my mind, my path." It begins when you stop blaming and start building. One of the most liberating yet difficult truths in life is this: nobody owes you anything, not your parents, not your friends, not society, not even life itself. This may sound cold or harsh, but it's actually a doorway to freedom. Freedom from expectation, from resentment, and from stagnation. When you truly accept that nobody is coming to save you, you stop waiting, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the ideal circumstances, waiting for someone to see your pain, your potential, your silent suffering, and magically lift you out of it. That moment doesn't come, and the longer you wait, the more your life stands still. Master Shi Heng Yi emphasizes the importance of radical self-responsibility. This means recognizing that you are the only one responsible for your growth, your healing, and your discipline. No one else can breathe for you. No one else can train your body, focus your mind, or walk your path. Others may guide you, inspire you, even help you briefly, but the burden of consistent effort, that's yours to carry. We live in a time where it's easy to feel entitled, to think that just because you're struggling, the world owes you a handout, a shortcut, or sympathy. But the truth is, life is neutral. It doesn't reward you for suffering, it rewards you for how you respond to suffering. It doesn't owe you success because you've had a hard past. If anything, the hard past is what prepares you to earn your success. When you let go of the illusion that someone else is responsible for your success, you stop blaming. You stop resenting others for not helping, not understanding, not being there. You realize, this is my journey. This is my fight. This is my life. And in that moment you reclaim your power. No more waiting. No more asking for permission. No more feeling sorry for yourself. You shift from a mindset of expectation to one of creation. You begin to build, not because someone promised you something, but because you know that nobody is coming, and that's okay. At first glance, the idea that discipline is freedom may seem contradictory. How can structure, rules, and self-imposed limits create liberty? Wouldn't freedom mean doing what you want when you want? That's the illusion many fall into, confusing impulse with freedom and mistaking comfort for peace. True freedom isn't about indulging in every desire or escaping responsibility. True freedom is about being in control of yourself, your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and your time. Discipline is what gives you that control. Without it, you're not free. You're a slave to distraction, weakness, laziness, and fear. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the silent force that allows you to wake up early, train when it's hard, keep your promises, and follow through even when your motivation disappears. It's what keeps you steady when life becomes chaotic. It's what transforms goals from dreams into reality. Discipline isn't something that limits you, it protects you. It protects your energy from being scattered, your mind from being overrun by chaos, and your potential from being wasted. In a world full of noise and temptation, discipline is the inner structure that allows you to move with purpose instead of drifting aimlessly. There's nothing more empowering than knowing that you can trust yourself, that when you say you'll do something, you actually follow through, that when things get difficult, you don't fold, you stay standing, you stay consistent. This inner strength doesn't come from talent, luck, or motivation. It comes from discipline, a habit of self-respect built over time through repetition and effort. And while motivation fades, discipline remains. Motivation is a spark, short-lived, unreliable. Discipline is the firewood, the steady fuel that keeps you going through long nights, uphill climbs, and silent battles no one sees. It's the foundation on which mastery is built. So, while many chase comfort, thinking it will bring happiness, the disciplined choose effort, knowing that within effort lies real joy, not the fleeting joy of ease, but the lasting fulfillment of growth. Because when you practice discipline, you're not just building habits, you're building yourself, a version of you that is capable, focused, and unshakable. Pain is often misunderstood. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid it, numb it, or run from it. But what they don't realize is this: pain is not your enemy. Pain is a teacher, a mirror. And if you have the courage to face it, pain becomes the path to strength. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that there is no true growth without struggle. In the Shaolin tradition, the body and the mind are pushed to their limits through daily, disciplined training. Every drop of sweat, every aching muscle, every repetition done after fatigue sets in. That is not punishment. That is transformation. Pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, is feedback. It tells you where you are weak. It tells you what still needs healing, where you are fragile, and what must be strengthened. It strips away illusion. It reveals who you are beneath the surface, and more importantly, it reveals who you could become if you're willing to endure. But in modern life, pain is demonized. We are taught to seek comfort, to avoid discomfort at all costs, to take shortcuts that promise quick relief. But shortcuts don't build resilience. Avoidance doesn't build confidence. Numbing doesn't build character. Pain builds all of these if you walk through it rather than away from it. When you choose the hard road, when you willingly enter discomfort, whether it's through difficult conversations, physical training, or personal discipline, you are building the inner armor that protects you in life's real battles. Not the fake confidence that comes from easy success, but true power that can only be earned in the fire of adversity. And here's what many never understand: the pain you run from today will become the prison that traps you tomorrow, but the pain you confront today, that becomes your strength, your edge, your advantage, because once you've suffered intentionally, once you've endured and survived what most people would quit, you become unshakable. You start to recognize pain not as a punishment, but as a gift, a test, a signal that you are expanding beyond your current limitations, that something in you is breaking, but only to be rebuilt stronger. It is not comfort that shapes warriors. It is not ease that forges leaders. It is pain, deep, intentional, focused pain, the kind that humbles you, challenges you, and refines you. Before you can master your body, your craft, or even your habits, you must master something far more difficult, yourself. And the first step towards self-mastery is not action, it is truth, brutal, unfiltered, uncomfortable truth. In short, self-honesty. Master Shi Heng Yi often emphasizes that without clarity, discipline becomes misguided. Without truth, action becomes empty. You can train for hours, meditate daily, set goals and chase ambitions. But if your foundation is built on self-deception, all progress is fragile. Real growth cannot be built on lies. Self-honesty is the ability to look in the mirror and see things as they are, not as you wish they were. It means calling yourself out when you're making excuses. It means recognizing when you're being lazy and labeling it as rest. It means admitting when you're afraid instead of pretending you're not ready yet. This level of honesty is rare because it's hard. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that you'd rather ignore, the jealousy, the fear, the procrastination, the insecurity. It doesn't flatter your ego, it challenges it. And yet, without this confrontation, mastery is impossible, because how can you improve what you refuse to acknowledge? Self-honesty also demands that you stop blaming others. Your circumstances may not be fair. Life might have dealt you a difficult hand, but if you want to rise above it, you must stop hiding behind what happened to you and start focusing on what you will do about it. Blame is easy. Responsibility is difficult. But responsibility is where your power lies. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that every day is a chance to check yourself, not with judgment, but with awareness. Ask, did I do what I said I would do? Am I acting in alignment with my values or just my mood? Am I being honest about my effort? Am I settling for comfort? The journey to mastery is not about perfection, it's about progress, but there can be no progress without a clear and honest starting point. Self-honesty gives you that starting point. It gives you clarity. It gives you the ability to make decisions based on reality, not illusion. It's easier to pretend, easier to tell yourself you're doing your best. But the truth is, deep down, you always know when you're lying to yourself. That quiet discomfort, that lingering guilt, that's your inner self whispering, you can do better. You are better. But until you stop covering your eyes, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of almost, maybe, and someday. Self-mastery is not a destination you stumble into. It is a daily decision, a constant dialogue between who you are and who you want to become. And that dialogue must begin with truth. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by voices, likes, comments, claps, shares, applause. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that these external signals are a measure of our worth, that if people see us, approve of us, or praise us, we must be on the right path. But this mindset is a trap, because validation is a weak currency. It's unstable, temporary, and addictive. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that a true warrior does not train for applause. A disciplined mind does not need constant affirmation. Why? Because external validation is inconsistent. One day, people may praise you, the next, they may ignore you or even criticize you. If your self-worth is built on their opinion, your confidence will rise and fall with every comment. That is not strength, that is dependence. True strength is rooted in something far deeper, internal validation, the ability to know your own value regardless of who is watching. You do the right thing not because it gets noticed, but because it aligns with your principles. You stay consistent not because it's popular, but because it's right. Validation becomes dangerous when it turns into your fuel, because then you are no longer living for yourself, you are performing. You start making choices not based on your values, but on how they will be received. You filter your expression, soften your truth, and dilute your authenticity in order to maintain approval. In doing so, you trade your freedom for applause, your integrity for attention, and what's worse, external validation never satisfies for long. It gives you a high, but like all highs, it fades. Then you're left chasing the next like, the next comment, the next recognition tied to the expectations of others, and disconnected from your own inner compass. Master Shi Heng Yi would say that self-mastery begins when you detach from praise and criticism alike, because both are external reactions, not inner truths. One does not become powerful by being liked. One becomes powerful by being aligned, with purpose, with values, with discipline. Ask yourself, if nobody clapped for you, would you still train? If no one ever acknowledged your effort, would you still give your best? If you had to walk alone, without recognition, could you keep going? These questions reveal where your foundation truly lies. And if the answer is no, if your effort is tied to being seen, then your strength is conditional. But if you can still walk forward, silent and unseen, that's when you know you are doing it for the right reason. That's when your growth becomes unstoppable. Validation from others may feel good, but it is fleeting. Validation from yourself, earned through discipline, sacrifice, and consistency, that is real. That is the kind of inner approval that no one can take from you. In the world of physical discipline, whether martial arts, fitness, or endurance, the body often takes the spotlight. We admire strength, speed, flexibility, precision. But what most people fail to see is this: the body is only a servant, the mind is the master. And unless the mind is clear, focused, and disciplined, the body will never reach its full potential. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that all true power begins in the mind. The decisions you make, the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you carry, these are the invisible forces that shape your actions. You don't fail in the gym because your body is weak. You fail because your mind gave up first. You didn't lack strength. You lacked will, and the will is born in the mind. Before your body lifts a weight, your mind has to decide to lift it. Before your legs take the next step, your thoughts must permit the discomfort. Before your fists strike, your mind must be steady. In every action, whether bold or weak, the mind moves first. The body simply follows the instructions it is given. This is why mental training is not optional, it is essential. A wandering, undisciplined mind will sabotage you before fatigue ever sets in. It will convince you that you're too tired, that today isn't the day, that your goals are too far away. It whispers excuses disguised as reason. It feeds fear, doubt, and hesitation. And unless you learn to discipline that inner voice, your outer world will reflect its chaos. But when the mind is trained, when it becomes your ally instead of your enemy, everything changes. You begin to act with intention. You start to push beyond the limits you once accepted. You realize that most barriers are mental, self-imposed ceilings that vanish when you stop believing in them. Master Shi Heng Yi emphasizes awareness as the first tool of mental discipline. To observe your thoughts, to catch the moments when fear creeps in, when resistance rises, when laziness disguises itself as self-care. That awareness is not weakness, it is control. It gives you space to choose. Will I follow the easy path of the body, or will I command it through the power of my mind? This principle is echoed in the ancient training halls of the Shaolin monks. Their bodies are finely tuned instruments, not because they are born superior, but because they dedicate their lives to mastering the mind. Stillness before motion, clarity before action, focus before power. They don't just train the body, they condition the mind to remain unshaken, no matter the intensity of the moment. You may think you need to get physically stronger, and yes, the body matters, but even more important is the strength of your mental posture. Your ability to stand firm in the face of fatigue, to override the temptation to quit, to act with purpose in every step. Because in every situation, whether it's waking up early, enduring hardship, or standing alone, the body is waiting for a signal, and that signal is sent by your mind. Train the mind, and the body will obey. But leave the mind undisciplined, and the body will remain caged in its lowest potential. One of the deepest forms of strength is the ability to act, not for praise, not for approval, not even for recognition, but for yourself. In a world where so much of what we do is shaped by the opinions and expectations of others, choosing to walk your own path for your own reasons is a revolutionary act. It is the essence of inner freedom. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches that the most powerful discipline arises not from external motivation, but from internal alignment. When your actions are rooted in your own values, your own standards, your own reasons, you become unstoppable. You are no longer waiting for encouragement, permission, or applause. You move because it is right, because it matters, because it aligns with who you are and who you want to become. There will be seasons in your journey where no one understands what you're doing, where people question your path, doubt your choices, and fail to see the effort you're putting in. You'll sacrifice things others take for granted, comfort, ease, time, attention, because your goals demand more. In those moments, if you're doing it for them, you'll crumble. But if you're doing it for you, you'll endure. Do it for you doesn't mean selfishness. It means integrity. It means recognizing that your life, your body, your mind, your time, they are your responsibility. Nobody else is going to carry your burdens. Nobody else will live with your regrets. So the choices you make must be true to you, not to trends, not to others' expectations, and not to fleeting emotions. You train because it brings you clarity. You wake up early because it builds character. You say no to distractions because your focus matters. You face discomfort not because someone's watching, but because you know that's where your evolution happens. And here's the truth. When you start doing things for yourself, not to impress, not to compete, not to seek validation, you begin to feel peace. You stop performing. You start living. You move with a sense of purpose that is quiet but powerful. And even if no one notices, even if no one claps, you are satisfied, because the one person matters you knows the truth of what you're building. This is the core of self-mastery, to live in alignment with your inner compass, even when the outer world is silent, to stay loyal to your path, even when it's lonely, to push yourself not because someone told you to, but because you refuse to settle for anything less than your potential. So train for you, grow for you, heal for you, not out of bitterness, not out of revenge, not to prove anything to anyone, but because you deserve to know who you can become when you give yourself fully to the journey. In the end, the journey is not about proving anything to the world. It's about discovering who you are when no one is watching. It's about walking the lonely road with discipline as your companion, truth as your guide, pain as your teacher, and purpose as your fuel. Nobody cares in the way you hope they might, and that's okay, because once you stop seeking external permission, you unlock a deeper power, the ability to live, train, and grow for yourself, not for likes, not for applause, not for validation, but for the silent pride that comes from keeping your word to yourself. This is the way of self-mastery. This is the path of peace through strength. So don't wait, don't complain, don't expect,